Welcome to Money Muscle Mindset, the podcast designed to motivate and educate you on your journey to financial and fitness success and to develop the mentality needed to achieve your goals. I'm Zay Molina, and in this episode, we're going to talk about 3 tips to help you quiet self-doubt. So many of us are holding ourselves back, right? And it's not about our actual physical limitations or anything to that degree, right? It all comes from our lack of confidence or our lack of maybe discipline or whatever it may be, right? We are holding ourselves back with self-doubt. And this doesn't just come in the form of, I can't do this or I can't do that, right? It also comes in the form of procrastination. It also comes in the form of overthinking or playing small, not living up to our full potential, right? All because we just simply doubt in our ability to do something. And sometimes, guys, we don't even attempt the task at hand, right? We talk ourselves out of it due to fear or the feeling of not good enough or whatever it may be, but we haven't actually attempted anything. And again, guys, this doesn't really come from us having physical limitations, but more of just that self-doubt, that negative talk that we have to ourselves. And it really just holds us back from achieving our goals. So today, I'm going to give you guys 3 tips that can hopefully help you get out of this self-doubt and help you push forward to have confidence in achieving your goals. So the first tip I want to give you guys is to create an evidence list. There's so many times in our lives, and I speak from personal experience, right, that we feel like we're not good enough, right? Even if we haven't attempted something, right, we still just talk ourselves out of it, and it's all because of fear. For example, maybe you've been working really hard for your dream career, or maybe you're trying to quit your 9 to 5 and start your own business or whatever it may be, right? And you feel that you've been working really hard, you've been doing all the research, you've been doing all the things that you need to get this off the ground. And yet when the time comes, you feel like, what if I can't do it? What if I run this business into the ground? What if I don't get the job? What if I don't pass the interview? What if I'm not capable of actually achieving this, right? And all of a sudden, you went from working really hard, having the confidence, doing everything that you need to, having the dedication, the ambition to achieve this, into what if I'm not good enough? What if I can't do it? And all of that stems from our negative self-talk, right? All the fear inside of us, right? Everything coming from internal, not actually something that's happened to us, right? Most of the time, it just comes from us feeling that fear. And why are we feeling fearful? Because it's something out of our comfort zone. When you're trying to achieve new goals, new levels, right? You're pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. And when you get to that moment, of course, fear is going to hold you back. They want to keep you in your comfort zone, right? It's scary to break out of this comfort zone, right? So yourself, your body, your mind, right? It's keeping you stuck into say, you know what? This is comfortable. Stay here. Don't go out there, right? Because what if it doesn't work out, right? That's scary. That's unknown, right? And so that is what all that negative talk is coming from, that feeling of just breaking out of your comfort zone. But in reality, guys, when it comes to creating that business or getting that career job, or even in fitness, maybe you're going for a new PR, right? Whatever it may be, right? If you have actually been putting in the time and work to actually go and achieve these different things, you actually have the ability, you are capable to achieve this. And this is something that a lot of us just forget when we have that negative self-talk and that fear arise, is that think about all the things that you've already done to get to this point. And that's the evidence list, right? Go back into your life. And if you have to write it down, guys, but think about all the successes that you've had in your life. If you're going after this dream job, this dream career, or maybe starting your own business, right? Go back to all the schooling you had, all the research, all the effort and time you've put into actually learning this stuff. Did you graduate high school? Did you graduate college, right? Did you actually learn this stuff and move forward? You most likely did. Did you do internships? Did you do lower level jobs that are leading up to this? You most likely did. So now this is just the next level. You've been climbing the staircase your whole life, right? Improving one year after another, one day after another, right? Getting stronger, getting better at whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, right? So this is just another step on that ladder, guys. If you've done it before, you can do it again. So again, guys, think about all the successes that you have, right? Don't think about all the failures, or don't think about all the what ifs, right? Think about what you've actually accomplished in this life and remind yourself of all the positive evidence that you have had of why you're capable of achieving this next goal. And think of everything from big to small. Again, if you're going after that dream job, okay, yes, maybe you graduated high school, maybe you graduated college, but maybe there was a term paper that you didn't really want to do at the time, but you did it anyway, and maybe you got an A+ on it. Maybe there was an exam that you were really nervous about, but you studied really hard and you got a better grade than you expected. Maybe there was a time where you had so many things to juggle, from, maybe fitness to maybe multiple jobs to maybe taking care of a family member or a kid or something like that, but you were able to do it all and still get to this point. Those are all small little wins that stack up, and they show the success that you've had in your past. So what's stopping you from moving up to the next level again? For example, some of the great athletes, the professional athletes that we see on TV, right? They actually visualize their past successes before the next big game, right? Before the championship, right? Michael Phelps is one. He was actually known to visualize his previous successes, his previous wins before the next big race. And it was basically to reinforce his belief that, hey, if I've done it once, I can do it again. So again, guys, think about all your past performances. Think about everything you've done up to this point and think about all the positives, all the successes, right? Don't worry about the fears. Don't worry about the losses. Don't worry about all those things, the setbacks. Worry about the things that you've done. Remind yourself that you are capable of achieving the next level. Remind yourself that you have had success in the past and you're going to do it again. So again, guys, this tip is about creating that evidence list. Think about all your successes, write them down if you have to, right? Keep it handy. So in case you ever start to doubt yourself again, open up that list, start reading a few and say, you know what? I did do this. I did do that. I've done this before. You know what? I can do this now. Because again, guys, think of success as a staircase, right? Each time you accomplish a new goal, a new task, right? You're climbing up that staircase. You've done it over and over. This next task, this next goal that you have is just another step on that staircase. You've already taken how many steps all the way to where you're at now? What's another step, right? Remind yourself that you are capable. Remind yourself of your previous successes. So that was tip number 1. Tip number 2, guys, prioritize the small wins, right? Don't just think about the long-term goal, right? Think about all the little steps in between. Sometimes we get overwhelmed when we just think about our long-term goals, right? Maybe you want this giant mansion for your family. You want all these nice cars. You want to move different states, different countries, right? And you know it's going to cost a lot of money and you're nowhere near that. And you start to get overwhelmed about all the things that you would have to do to actually make this money. And it just kind of leads to more negative self-talk and all this kind of stuff, right? Instead of thinking about that long-term picture, I'm not saying forget it, right? Obviously have it in the back of your mind, your vision of what you want, right? But instead of trying to prioritize and trying to make that big leap to, I need to have this right now, think about all the small steps in between. Think about all the things you can do daily, weekly, monthly, right? To lead to that long-term goal. You know, that big house, that big mansion, the big move out of state, whatever it may be, that may be 3, 5, 10 years down the road, right? But instead of focusing on just that, think about what you can do today. Think about what you can do over the next week, over the next month, over the next year, right? Start focusing on the smaller wins. And that's going to help you kind of wrap your brain around, okay, you know what? I'm going to take it one step at a time. It's like that saying, how do you eat an elephant? Just one bite at a time. You can't focus on trying to eat the whole elephant in one go, right? You got to take one piece at a time and just take a bite, start chewing it, swallow, then move on to the next one, right? Focus on those small micro daily moves. Think about your fitness goals, for example, right? We all know that you can't go to the gym one day and have a six-pack the next, right? You got to understand that it's going to take time, right? It's going to take consistent effort over time, right? Eating habits, going to the gym consistently, doing all this kind of stuff, right? And you understand that when you go to the gym one time, right afterwards, you're not going to necessarily see results. You may have a pump, you may feel good, right? But you're not going to have your dream body right after one session at the gym. But that doesn't mean you can't celebrate that you went to the gym today, right? You showed up, you did exactly what you said you were going to today. And guess what? You know, you may not see your results right now, right? But you did a small win. You know that by going to the gym today, doing this workout, it is getting you one step closer to your goals. And again, by doing this small win, now you're gaining more confidence. Now you're getting more motivation. So now the next day, you know what? Hey, I'm supposed to go to the gym again. I did it yesterday. Why can't I do it again? I'm going to go again today. You show up, you do your workout. Again, you're not going to have the results, but guess what? You're getting better. You're starting to show up consistently, right? And that's what it takes. Doing it over and over. Celebrate those small wins, right? Every time you go to the gym, as soon as you walk out the doors, you finish your workout, you know what? Tell yourself, great job. I'm proud of myself, right? I did it. Let's do it again. And again, I know we all want to see the results right now, right? But it's not about just the long-term results, guys. It's about seeing progress. It's about the journey, right? Again, if you fall in love with the journey and you start to focus on progress, not just the results, guys, it's going to help you lead to, again, more small wins that are going to help you increase motivation. Just think about all the times that you went to the gym that even when you didn't want to, right? Maybe it was a long day at work and you're supposed to go to the gym right afterwards and you're like, oh, I'm really tired. I wish I could just go home and sleep. But you know what? I said I was going to go to the gym. I'm going to show up. And you walk through those doors. You still don't feel like working out. But then you get to your first machine. You start doing a lightweight, warming up. And all of a sudden you're like, you know what? I'm here. Let's do this. And you knock out your workout. And then think about how good you felt afterwards, right? I think we all kind of feel this and kind of experience this, right? You get to the gym. You're like, oh, I don't really want to work out. But by the time you're done with your workout and you feel good, you have that pump, you know what? You're like, hey, I'm proud of myself. I did great. That was awesome. I'm glad I did it. Now I can go home. And just by completing that one session, that small task, again, you gain that motivation, you gain that confidence. Like, you know what? I did it today. I can do it again tomorrow, right? And that's the idea. Again, celebrate and prioritize those small wins rather than just focusing on the large end results. And last but not least, guys, tip number 3, and I believe this one's super powerful. Talk to yourself. Don't just listen. Now, what does that mean? Well, again, we all have those moments of self-doubt, right? And what's happening during those moments, right? Well, we all have that little voice in our head that says, don't do this, don't do that. Oh, you can't do that. No, you're not good enough to do that, right? And what is it doing? Well, it's keeping us in our comfort zone, right? It's keeping us safe and secure because what we're doing now, what we're capable of, what we have been doing is familiar, right? We don't want to break out of that because when we break into the unknown, that's what's scary to our mind. So that little voice in our head is saying, you know what? Don't go out of there, right? Don't go to the unknown. Stay safe, stay secure, because you know what's going to happen. You know that you're capable of this. You've been doing it for so long, right? So stay in this zone. You don't know if you're capable of moving up to the next level or doing this or doing that, right? And all of that is just that little voice of that self-doubt. And the average person is going to bend their knee to that voice, right? What do I mean by that? Is basically we automatically listen to that little voice in our head of all the self-doubt that's flooding us. As soon as we hear that voice say, no, you can't do that. Oh, you're not capable. Oh, you're not good enough. What do? We immediately say, you know what? Yeah, you're right. I'm just not going to do it. But I'm here to tell you guys, you don't have to listen to that voice, right? You don't have to listen to all the negative self-talk that pops in your head. You are human. You're going to have that fear. You're going to have that lack of confidence, a lack of discipline. That's going to pop up in your head, and you're going to have those moments. However, you can make a conscious decision to say, you know what? I'm not going to listen to that voice right now. I'm going to continue to go through this no matter what. And yes, sometimes that's hard. It takes true intention to push past that voice, but that's the idea, guys. We want to break out of that comfort zone. Again, that voice is trying to keep you in that comfort zone because it's familiar. It's something that you know, hey, if I do this, I know this is going to happen, right? Because this is what I've been doing for so long. But if you want to change, guys, you have to break out of that comfort zone. You can't listen to that voice. You need to positively, consciously talk to yourself and boost your confidence and push yourself to actually break out and say, you know what, I can do this, right? That little voice, that fear, it's telling me, no, you can't, no, you can't, no, you can't. I'm going to say, you know what, I'm going to stop you right there. I can do this, right? I'm going to push myself to achieve that goal. For example, think about skydiving, right? And I always think about Will Smith's speech when he talked about when he went skydiving for the first time, right? He was super fearful the entire time leading up to skydiving, right? The night before he fell asleep, he was full of fear. When he woke up in the morning, he was full of fear. On the way to the airport, he was full of fear, right? When he got in the plane, he was full of fear. When they opened the door and he was looking down at the ground, he was full of fear. But the moment he actually jumped is when he said that it was the most amazing experience of his life, right? And he jumped out and all the fear just disappeared, right? But the idea is that the entire time before he actually jumped out of that airplane, he was afraid. His little voice in his head was saying, don't do this. What are you doing? This is scary. Don't do this. You know, anything can happen. What if the chute doesn't open? All this kind of stuff was, I'm sure, was flooding his head. But he made the conscious decision to say, you know what? That little voice is constantly telling me, don't do this. Don't drive down to the airport. Don't get in that plane. Don't open that door. Don't jump, right? I'm sure all of these little phrases were coming from that little voice in his head saying, don't do this. But he said, in spite of that little voice constantly telling me, don't do this, don't do that, because of fear, he pushed himself past it, made that conscious decision to say, you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. And I think that's something that we can all adopt in our lives, is when that little voice is in our head saying, no, you can't do this, you can't do that, don't do this, right? You're not good enough, whatever it may be, right? When that little voice is talking, we can say, okay, thank you for your opinion, but I'm going to do it anyway. Just because you have that little voice telling you that all this stuff and you start to feel that fear, that does not mean you can't make the conscious decision to push past it and say, you know what, I'm going to do it anyway because I believe in myself. So the idea behind this tip, guys, is don't just listen to that little voice, right? Positively talk to yourself, right? Of course, you're human. You're going to have negative self-talk, right? But catch yourself in the moment of saying, oh, you can't do this because of X, Y, Z, right? Stop yourself and say, you know what? Why can't I do this? Why am I capable of actually doing this, right? What are the things that I've done, right? Let me go back to my evidence list. Let me go back and think about all the successes that I've had, right? All the small wins, right? Think about all that kind of stuff and positively talk to yourself. Again, that negative self-talk is basically an unconscious reaction that we have in our body, right? Our mind immediately goes to the negative to keep us in our comfort zone, right? It takes a conscious effort to say, you know what? I'm going to catch myself in the moment speaking negative to myself, and I'm going to replace it with positive self-talk. Instead of saying I can't, say I can. Instead of saying I'm not good enough, say I'm more than enough, right? Be that positive coach. Combat that little voice in your head that's being negative and be positive, right? Go against it and prove that you can do these things. Again, making that conscious decision to go against that little voice in your head. Again, you guys are human. You're going to have negative self-talk. You're going to have self-doubt, right? You're going to have all this kind of stuff pop into your head, all the fears and everything like that. But that does not mean you can't make a conscious decision to say, you know what? No matter what's going on, no matter all this negative talk and this self-doubt, I can push myself to achieve whatever it is that I want in this life. So with that being said, that's what I got for you guys in today's episode. 3 tips to help you quiet the self-doubt. Again, number 1, build your evidence list. Think about all the previous successes that you've had in your life. Number 2, guys, prioritize small micro wins, right? Focus on the small daily tasks rather than just the end results. And number 3, guys, talk to yourself. Don't just listen to that little voice that's being negative. Be positive, combat it, challenge it to push yourselves to the next level. So once again, guys, thank you guys for watching. And I'm going to leave you guys as I always do. Remember, success isn't just about the money you make or the muscles you build. It's also about the mindset you develop along the way. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode of Money Muscle Mindset.